It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of 168. Marvellous. I love it. Every week it just gets tired. So over in the far corner, I'd like to introduce my legendary co-host, the demigod of science fiction. Please check out his channel. It's amazing and it's massive with subscribers growing every day. I tune in myself. And I'm by the gods of science fiction. I'm a small channel. I talk about obscure things of science fiction and go to conventions and talk about stuff. And where do we start after this? I really don't know what the... I'm going to say this now. What the fuck did I watch on Saturday?
I know. I mean, what we'll do is we're going to talk generally about the... Do you want to talk about the episode first, and then we'll do a summary of this short-term era of the 14th Doctor?
I think we should do a quick summary of the two first.
All right, so the 3 episodes. So we've had 3 episodes.
Connects.
That's what I was wondering. All right, so... So the first episode was the Star Beast, which brought back, obviously, Donna Noble. We saw Donna's family. We saw... Actually, we didn't see Wilf, but Wilf was in the next episode. And it was an episode where a spaceship crash lands in London. And it was this weird sort of gremlin, sort of weird creature thing. What was it called? The Meep, wasn't it? Beep the Meep, whatever it was. The
Meeper.
I would say that out of the 3, the first episode of the 3 was the weakest. I liked it. But I something wasn't quite there for me. So that was, and obviously we have already talked about it in previous episodes, which is why we're not going to sort of dwell too much and repeat ourselves. The second episode was Wild Blue Yonder, which felt to me much more like, it was a bottle episode, but I kind of quite like this one. I like the idea of these 2 alien entities just desperately trying to copy the Doctor and Donna and escape from this situation where they're in the middle of nowhere and they want to just go. Very bottle episode, but I think on the whole it was good. It's entertaining, and Donna and Catherine Tate and David Tennant, they never let you down. They do as actors, they do work very well off each other. I've always thought that, and I think it's great that they've had a chance to come back and give us a bit of a sort of bounce back from Doctor Who of 12, 13 years ago to where we are now, which has been really, really good. And then last night we had, well, not last night, it was Saturday night. Obviously, it depends on when we're recording it, but it was on Saturday night in the UK and America, and that was, of course, The Giggle. Now, Martin and I, we were looking, we did send a couple of text messages, but let me just ask you first of all, what did you think of this last episode of this new 14th Doctor era?
Well, I think first, so I'm sort of conflicted between first and 2, which were better. I did sort of think, I don't know, I think the first one was slightly better than the second for me.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay.
But I wouldn't go, funny enough, I wouldn't go back to watch them 2 episodes again.
Really?
You might. I don't know. I wasn't... Before we get on to the big one, we did say this 3 weeks ago, Mr. Flack talks about it.
Yeah.
That everything's going to happen in the 3rd episode. Everything. So it's been a build-up, really. It's like been 3 steps.
Yeah.
So, and I think it has played, and to be fair, I think it has played out, right? And I'm not going on about all the political stuff.
No, okay, all right.
I'm on about story.
Yeah.
We'll cover that.
Yeah, sure.
But it's like each week's been a step. And I think I put a lot in for the first episode. I was sort of disappointed. Second episode, it was alright. But last Saturday night's episode, I have to say it again, what the fuck did and I watched it twice.
I've watched it twice.
I watched it again.
I've watched it twice. I have watched it twice.
Just to get my head round it, you know. I'm not okay. I'm going to say I had this conversation yesterday with some friends. They've not seen it. They asked me, but I said, look, there might be things that you're not going to agree with it, but I have to say, I bloody well enjoyed it.
I really liked it. No, I know. I really liked it. I think it was a fabulous episode. I think Neil Patrick Harris was fantastic as the toy maker. It was funny. You even had Spice Up Your Life in one scene where and he turns the unit soldiers into balls and all sorts of. I mean, Jesus, I did throw a lot into this episode. And the pacing was great. I think that I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was worth it. They could have actually just had this one episode and not perhaps bother with the other two for the trilogy of specials for the 60th anniversary. But I'm really happy with it. Really.
There's no point, was there, really?
Well, no, but this was good. But it didn't need the other two.
Episodes.
It didn't need the other two. Yeah, it was really good. And of course,
I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know, because the other two I never went back on them.
No, I know.
You might have seen them, but I've seen them once.
I saw.
When I saw this last night, Saturday, sorry. When I got a message from you, when I stepped back, and when I finished it, I watched it again. I just sat through it again just to get my head round it, and some amazing revelations in it as well.
Yeah. One thing, of course, do you want to talk about the bi-generation, which is the biggest twist in Doctor Who in a long time?
I was ready to bring that up. So
yeah.
I thought we need to.
Or do you want to save that for a minute? Do you want to? All right, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's go to the other things first. That's fine.
I found I thought Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, yeah.
If they ever brought Q back to Star Trek, if Q,
I was watching.
I found it very Q-esque.
I was watching the Sci-Fanatics today, reviewing it, and he said exactly the same thing. It was like basically, it was Picard and Q was the toy maker and the 14th Doctor. They had that similar kind of relationship and interaction and. You know, they're on different sides, but they have this kind of weird way of working off each other, which I thought was really good. We also got some other surprises. We've got Mel coming back, of all people, from Classic Who, and it was nice to see her back. I knew she was coming back, but it was still nice to see her back because the last episode of the Jodie Whittaker era, they did say that old Doctor Who companions are now starting to work for UNIT. And she's got a job now working there. And if you remember, Kate Stewart was actually trying to get Tegan and Ace and some of the old companions. And we did see Mel briefly in that episode as well. So, and even Donna Noble got offered a job at one point. And she said, what was it? She said she was offered $60,000 a year. And she said, Donna says, "Oh no, I'll work for you for $120,000 a year and 5 weeks holiday." And then Kate Stewart goes, "Yeah." And then Donna just gives you this really cheeky smirk, which was really funny. I loved it. I really do like Catherine Tate actually. She's a great actress.
I love UNIT headquarters.
Okay, before everybody says it, you know what it's reminding me of, don't you? It's the Avengers base in the Marvel films, isn't it? It is.
Oh, the Stark Tower.
Yeah.
Stark Tower,
oh, come on! You must have thought that.
I did. It's just, you know, it's 2 days on. It's Monday now, and that episode is still ringing round in my head right now.
I've still got Spice Up Your Life. Spice Up Your Life.
I mean, he was superb in this. He was superb. And it was great because the revelations that came out, that how powerful he's a cosmic entity.
Yeah.
He can warp reality. He can just snap his fingers
Yeah.
and change things, but he's governed by a certain rule, and they can't break that rule. Can't, no matter what.
Yeah, you have to play the game and win it or lose it, and it's I thought that was clever.
Yeah, there were some fantastic revelations, that's why I watched it again. First, we got the Master, who were dying.
In the teeth.
And he wanted him to save his life, and he lost the game, and he shoved him in his teeth.
Yeah.
And then we found out about the Guardian of Space and Time. They were defeated. And there were all these
lots of references to classic Who. Logopolis was mentioned.
And he defeated all these villains or other forces that were powerful. He'd done them all. But then there was the Doctor.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely loved this whole thing. And my favourite scene, apart from the Spice Up the Life thing, I loved it when he sat on that big laser gun.
Oh yeah.
When he said you and I, we could travel amongst the stars and play the eternal game. He said no, because why? I love humans. They're gambling. They're doing all this. There's loads I can do here, and I can have fun, and and I just loved that. And then he just shot him.
Yeah.
With the laser.
Yeah, I know, and that was really bizarre because the one thing which is a bit annoying is his clothes were still intact though. The whole clothes thing with the new Doctor is weird because are the clothes part of his body now? Because when he regenerated, he changed his clothes. And later on, there was another issue with the clothes, which we will talk about when we go into what happens after this scene. But I like the other things I liked about it. Before we continue with this, is I liked the idea of the last satellite was now connected to the whole worldwide, and then the giggle, the sound of the laughter, is making people's perspectives change. They become very selfish, and they become very aggressive. And I like that. That's very old style Russell T Davies episodes. Yeah. He's done that many.
Right. There was an incredible political point he made. It was very clever. I know there was some other stuff, but this is how you do it. When he turned around and said about the other race, he said, why did you do this to him? He said, because everybody's right. They've all got points of view. And they cancel each other out, they're all shouting. It's social, basically they were having a go at social media.
Oh yeah,
the politics and all, everybody's right. And I thought that's how you put it into a science fiction story like that.
They did it in a very clever way.
That's very clever, and I was so impressed by that. And I thought, you've just stick right on today's society. They really what, but then of course there were the other things. They can't help themselves, but I think they put it in there to wind people.
Well, they did the TARDIS. The TARDIS. Remember we talked about the ramp for the TARDIS, and at the end it flips open. I did. Actually, you know what? Yeah. I didn't mind it. That was just a bit of fun. I don't mind that. That was all right.
I'm glad we didn't get one of them slow doors coming down with that beeping noise. Please.
Oh, beep, beep. Like the doors open, sort of like. Beep,
please step back.
Yes. Stand back from the front or something. Yeah. Another scene I liked as well was the theatre show, where we had the toy maker, because Donna doesn't know what's happened since she, the 10th Doctor. You find out about what happened with Amy Pond. And she died. It goes to this American accent. Then it was Clara. Then it was Bill Potts. I like that. I thought those looked lovely, and they were like puppets and things like that. And they cut the strings. And there's so many good moments in this.
Historical facts. That puppet was actually the first TV image in the world.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's in the television.
Yeah. I know. I need to discover that after watching this.
I found that out today.
Yeah,
I found that out today.
Yeah, I didn't know it either, but yeah, I know it is actually referenced in reality. No, that's really clever. Yeah, I thought that was really good as well. Yeah, so like I said, a lot happened. Is it time to talk about the? Go on.
The other revelation, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, we're getting there.
It's like bubbling on the surface, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah. The other revelation is I think they've set up the next series because the Toy Master, is it the Toy Master?
Toy Maker, yeah.
He said, I keep thinking it's Q for some reason. He said there was something else he was running from.
Yeah, and in the end,
he said
something, but it was referencing. Yeah, some other baddie that we're not aware of.
Yeah, there's something, and he tried to play it, but he ran from it because it's worse than him. Do you know what I mean? And he looked scared as well. He looked scared.
He did. Yeah.
And when that scene, when he got rid of him, he said, "Listen, over, my legions are coming."
Yeah. Well, we got that, and we've also got the Master's going to come back as well, because you actually, when the woman picked up, well, yeah, because that was also almost identically done when the Master with David Tennant the first time round. His essence was like in a something green that was picked up with the woman with red fingertips.
Yeah.
And exactly the same thing was that, and you could actually hear old Masters laughing in the background. You heard Anthony Ainley, you heard Missy. He's going to come back, or she's going to come back next time again. So,
but how they played that scene was the end of Flash Gordon.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know when the tooth was on the floor?
Yeah.
In the Flash Gordon, the 1980s Flash Gordon movie, when Ming's consciousness went into the ring,
right?
He was on the floor. When they're all celebrating, somebody picked up the ring and he started laughing. They copied that scene from Flash Gordon. So,
oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. I've not seen Flash Gordon for a long time.
So who's the Toy Maker scared of? Who's he running from? What's more? I mean, this is the guy who could warp reality with just a thought.
Yeah.
He did. He like I said, I play with stars and then he goes to some board. That's the level of power we're dealing with. So what's he? The unknown, the unknowable, something. And he said, I am running from it. I ran from it. And so what could be worse than him? Really?
Well, do you think
so far, apart from well, when you like any cosmic powered villain on that level, I mean, he has faced off against one or two villains like that, like Sutek's on that level.
Sutek,
you know Sutek?
Yeah, the Pyramid Mars.
The Egyptian.
Pyramid Mars.
Yeah. Well, if he'd have got out of his prison, he could destroy. Well, Doctor showed that he'd just wipe out reality like that. The Toy Maker's on that level.
Yeah.
So he's defeated entities. Who's the one the Toy Maker's running from? And they made a point that really focused on that. That's going on. That's going into the next series. But there is still a lot of questions unanswered. But I'm going to this after By Regeneration. Over to you.
Okay. So the Doctor gets the laser beam through the chest. He staggers back. He's not looking too happy. And and here we go again. And then we get Mel and we get Donna. And then he starts to glow. He starts to get that sound. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we're all waiting.
And Alonzi was his last word. And I thought, and then suddenly he goes, settles down. He just says, pull. I thought, alright, okay, that's weird. And so he can pull. Sorry, that's a bad pun. He gets pulled, and then suddenly there's a weird moment where we see another Doctor, but still linked with the previous Doctor, and it was Ncuti Gatwa's first appearance. And this is something called a bi-generation, not a regeneration. This is a new thing, and so basically, David Tennant's Doctor is not gone. He survives, but his next iteration is also arrived. So I don't know. I've had to think about it over the last couple of days because this is a big change, and apparently Russell T Davies has actually said now that this could have actually happened to all the previous Doctors. This is, in some ways, this is partly why this has been done, is because Disney are now involved and they do want to make spin-offs of some sort. Okay. And and I think we're going to get the Doctor Who-verse, or the Who-verse.
Well, it said that when it started, it went the Who-universe.
Yeah, the Who-universe. So, you know, get the Marvel Universe, you get the Star Trek, it's going to be happening. So, from what I watched of it, I actually quite liked it. I respect the fact that they try to do something different. But before we continue on, let me get your first impressions about it. What do you think about it?
Right, we've grown up on this, like, both of us, 2 years since we were little kids.
Yeah.
And there was the one rule that never broke it until the new stuff started coming through. When he died, he regenerated, he got a new body.
Yeah.
Not great. And that's what we saw, that was the primer. And then we found out in one episode years ago, there were only 12 regenerations.
That's right.
And that was etched in stone.
And it lasted for a long time until they caught up with the 12th regeneration.
Well, it caught up. And then they came out with some excuse to get around it, where Time Lord sent him all regenerations.
You got a new cycle of regeneration.
Yeah. But then we found out he's not a Time Lord. He was brought up by Time Lords. They took his ability to regenerate.
Yeah, and he's alien. Yes.
He just goes on forever, regenerating into whatever. And that sort of interest. So like, we've now ended up with a mystery. Who is the Doctor? Again, which has never been answered. They made a big thing about Flux. So obviously there's going to be more about that. And they've basically, I think what Russell T Davies has done, any old laws that have been shoved down the toilet. As of Saturday night, Doctor Who became something brand new and something else. I don't know if you agree with that.
Well, I mean,
because the main law was the regeneration thing.
I think
they've wiped it out now.
I actually hope it's just a one-off. I don't mind it happening once, because now we've got 2 Doctors at the same time, which again I think it's still to do with this Who-universe spin-off idea. I think that's partly why he did it. Why suddenly the second TARDIS was created was really bizarre as well.
But that was the prize from the
yeah, it was
he won the game, so
the physical
prize.
I wouldn't want it to happen every time, because also I was thinking now, what if David Tennant's Doctor was killed, would he still regenerate into another Shooting Gapworth 15th Doctor, or would he be another Doctor?
Do you remember the scene? You remember the scene where they hugged each other?
Yeah.
When they were having that moment where they said you've been running for the last 20 years and you haven't stopped. That's why you got your old face back.
Right.
You know, and I found that that was sort of acceptable to what happened. I get that there were things resolved and he couldn't move on, because each generation he moves on, and with this, you know, is David Tennant coming back? Is he good? Have they offered him shitloads of money to do another Doctor Who series? So now
I don't know anything about.
Because I thought when he hugged him, like when he were at that sad moment when shooting hugged him, I thought he'd turn to energy and he'd absorb him or something like that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. You know, it was that the transit. So he's like got a tear down him, like it's time to let go now.
And then he would go back into okay.
And then but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
And I was like, well, that's going to happen, and it didn't. And I was like, bloody hell, there's 2 of them now.
Yeah.
So now the question I put to you is David Tennant coming back? Have they offered him a shitload of money to come back?
I think they're given the possibility for him to come back. And also he's even got his own TARDIS, so you could have adventures with the 14th Doctor. I love David Tennant. I think he's a great actor. I love everything he does. In some ways though, it's kind of like it's too much now, because it's time for another Doctor. It's kind of like the whole point of Doctor Who to change.
So you precisely. But maybe, I mean, this is me only hypotheticals, but maybe when this new series starts, David Tennant turns up in the new series towards the end, summer, and then they're both merged into one entity. Maybe there's a thing.
Can I just hold you a second?
I don't know. Maybe that's how they're.
Can I just hold you 1 second?
As far as I know,
I can hear a tapping.
What happens to David Tennant now? I mean, is he just?
Sorry, mate. I can hear. I'll be right back. I can hear tapping outside. Be 1 second. Sorry.
So let us know your thoughts on Doctor Who if you're watching.
Sorry about that.
And if you're watching, leave some in the comments and let us know what your thoughts are. Oh,
Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to answer the door. Sorry, what were you saying? So let's go back to what we were saying. Yeah, so it does sort of seem strange that we've now got 2 Doctors. And I'm hoping that this is, like I said, I don't want it happening again and again. Because I think it will, the whole significance of a Doctor regeneration.
This has to be a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. So
that's why I don't think it's over. I don't think this is over. This is going to play out in the next series.
Good. So I have to ask you.
So overall, what
go
is your opinion?
What of the story?
Go on, ask me. Go on.
Oh well, I was going to ask you, what do you think of the first impressions of
everything? Yeah, well.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking over each other because I think it's playing up. But let me just say, I want to ask you, what do you think of Ncuti Gatwa's performance? First impressions.
I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, we saw him, what, 10 minutes? I mean, you know, we don't get. From what I saw, he's a very good actor. He's got a stage presence. I'll give him that. And he's definitely going to take this in his own way. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. When he starts on Christmas Day, it's going to be his personality all the way. He will make this his own, I think. The point is, I think he's going to be okay. The problem is, it's the writing. If they do, I mean, they surprised us all on Saturday. But the Christmas Day one has to be at that level. It's got to be at that level. But he needs that as a springboard to get us all ready. I'm excited. I'm open. Sat on the fence. But from what I saw of him, he is a bloody good actor. He's theatre trained. And he will make this his own part. He will forget. Because like you said, they're calling the next series Season 1.
Well, apparently. Which seems daft to me because
apparently.
Yeah, but everybody's saying it's Season 14.
Yeah, but he will make this his own, I think. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Not a problem with him so far. I mean, there were a couple that put a few things in there, a little bit political, but I think the speed and the pace of the episode, I didn't really tune into any of that, really. The bi-generation thing, as long as it's a one-off thing, and they can get away with it this time. But they've made Doctor Who. They took him into the ultimate fantasy range now. He can get away with anything.
Yeah, but this is
like before. He was restricted. This time, it's
but this actually has correlation because people are saying that apparently Doctor Who is starting to move it slightly away from historical relevance or science fiction and more into fantasy.
Got away from it all.
And this was much more of a fantasy episode than we've normally seen.
Well, and, you know what I mean? Saturday night when that were on, it moved us away from the old Doctor Who did that episode.
Yeah. I mean,
the bridge. It was the perfect bridge. It was.
Yeah, it was strange, but I did like it. I did enjoy it. I think it was.
I did.
It was.
I was like, what the fuck have I watched? That's what I like. But the question is, somebody said something. Neil Patrick Harris, did he carry the episode? Did he carry? He was the star in it, really.
Yeah, I think he was the main. I think he did. I think that's a fair enough question. He was such a powerful.
Yeah.
influence on the whole episode. I mean, you know, all the rest were fine, but he had something really special about it in the way he portrayed as the villain. I just think, you know, they say that basically if Russell T Davies hadn't come back, then Doctor Who would have been put on long-term hiatus because nobody else wanted to be executive producer. I think nobody else wanted to take over after Chris Chibnall. You know, it's a shame. You would think there'd be something. It's a big deal. You know, Doctor Who is a big deal, and it's a lot of pressure on the showrunner to keep it in a certain way, because you're always going to have lots of fans angry at doing this and angry at doing that. And you know, Chris Chibnall and Stephen Moffat before, you know, they both had some real big hassles when they're running the show. I'm surprised in some ways that Russell T Davies did return, but good luck to him. You know, I think it's a good start. I think it's going to be a bit too woke for me in some respects.
Good start. Yeah.
But we'll have to see how it goes. You know, in the end.
Yeah, but I tuned above that. I tuned it went in there, but I just ignored it.
It wasn't. It wasn't too.
Neil Patrick, David, he was so fascinating when they were dropping like the first. The guy in the toy shop when he came out with that and all this, I just ignored it. I wasn't interested. I just if you're gonna put it. I was so fascinated by the story and these crazy antics. I just thought, you know, this is I'm not bothered. I even found the wheelchair ramp really funny.
Yeah,
it didn't
was
bother
funny.
me.
No, I didn't mind it either.
I think if it had been all that had been in last week's episode, you'd have kicked off over it probably.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't bother me at all.
The only thing that's really upset me with the new era is the minisode where we had the Davros issue. I think that's the thing that upset me the most since Russell T Davies has come back. You know, I mean, these episodes weren't possibly as epic as perhaps I thought they might be. I think the Neil Patrick.
You see, I would expect in a 3-story arc of something being behind his regeneration.
Yeah.
That something was manipulated, some doubt. Because the meat turnaround said as well, this is the other thing. The meat turnaround said, my master will not be happy with you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The meat said that.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's the same master what the toy maker went up against.
Yeah.
I think that the next big series is going to be this unnameable villain in the story arc. You know, but how they're going to pull it off? We've got 2 doctors out there now. How they're going to pull that off, I do not know. But they're going to have to resolve it. But we are.
Well, will they? I mean, you don't need to.
Fantasy.
I mean, David Tennant
can
come back.
Not if you don't want
there are 2 David Tennant. There's a human doctor in the other universe doing those.
Yeah, but that was sort of explained, wasn't it?
But what I'm saying is now we've got David Tennant's face now is on 2 versions of a doctor, one human plus the one. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you know, I mean, I think that one of the reasons why David Tennant came back is because he just loves the role. He loves doing it, and he couldn't resist it.
Yeah, well, I think he's coming back. I would surprise me if he signs up for one series.
Yeah. Well.
You know,
I don't know. It's weird though, having it concurrent.
Well,
it's weird. No, I'm not disputing
that.
Well,
he might end up in another universe or something, and that's where he's moving around to. But the question is, what happens when Tennant starts to regenerate?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Would he change? Would he be a different Doctor, not the Ncuti Gatwa Doctor? You know, there might be a different 15th Doctor. Well, maybe 6th. I don't know. I'll get confused.
I don't know.
It's confusing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, look, we're running out of Zoom time, so let's just rate it. What would you rate the third episode?
Maybe Tennant.
Go on.
Maybe Tennant could become the Valeyard.
I think he might be the curator. Remember the curator?
Yeah.
Or something from that lineage. From him is the one that ends up at Tom Baker in the 50th.
I mean, and then he takes on that role after that, and then it's all about the other Doctor and the regenerations after him. But it's going to be interesting to hear what you rate this. I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm going to give it Yeah, 9. I'll give you the same.
Yeah, I'm thinking 9, not a 10.
No, but it was up there.
Think.
It was high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I
Yeah.
really, I mean,
Why? Yeah, why I gave it a 9 because I watched it again straight after, and I haven't done that in a long time. So.
yeah, I had to watch
That's
it
it.
again, and I like the fact that we've got 10 minutes of the new Doctor, whereas most episodes you just see the regeneration. They stand up and they go, oh, and then you hear the Doctor Who. I mean, he did get it this time round, and they actually fought the toy maker, whose death was a bit daft, really, wasn't it? But after just catching playing
Well,
catch.
he's just been sent back. He's just been sent back to where he comes from.
Yeah. Well, like I said, a lot of money went into the actors for these episodes, and I think that's why.
Well, then a lot.
I think that's why the second one was a.
Sex.
Yeah, but I think the second episode was a bottle episode because they spent a lot of money on getting Neil Patrick Harris and David Tennant and
And that set.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that
The set was really
that
cool.
set was incredible.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Martin, I'm going to sign off now because there's no point in coming
Yep.
over Zoom because we've
Same
pretty
here.
much covered it. Next week is our Christmas episode where we're not going to do sci-fi. We are going to do Trading Places, a very, very funny film.
Yes, a classic Christmas movie.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to that. So, Martin, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.